Hi everyone! Welcome to another series of our bariatric cooking classes. Today we'll be making a chicken chili with butternut squash. Let me show you how it's done. So you're going to grab a large pot where you can make the soup, the chili, and you're going to set it up in medium-high heat. I can already see the smoke coming out a little bit. It's quite hot. What we're going to do is we're going to brown the butternut squash. We're going to lightly brown it. So I'll adjust the heat depending on how quickly it's browning. And like I said, we just want to lightly brown it in the outside. That's all we're trying to achieve here. That was 2 tablespoons of canola oil, by the way, and 2 cups of the butternut squash. You could, this is fresh butternut squash, but you could use frozen if you wanted to give that a try. Just know that the frozen product is going to bring down the temperature of your pot when you add it. So you might want to make sure your pot is really, really hot before you add the frozen butternut squash. Or you might want to let the butternut squash thaw out just a tad so it's not as cold. You might not see it in the camera, but I can already tell some of the pieces are lightly browning. So I think our temperature is good at medium-high. We'll keep it that way. And I'll keep tossing until they're lightly browned evenly all over. Alright, so you can see now, really see how it's lightly browning. It's important that you continue tossing it so they don't burn in one side. So just continuously toss your butternut squash until it's lightly browned all over. I'm going to remove the butternut squash from the pan and transfer it to a container. Now we're going to cook our veggies and our aromatics. I have 2 cups of yellow onion, 1 cup of diced red bell pepper, about 5 teaspoons of ground garlic, 2 tablespoons of diced jalapeno. Of course, this is optional. If you want no spice, you can add some green bell pepper instead, and maybe do a little bit more than 2 tablespoons. Let's give this a quick toss. Let me break up this garlic. I did not bring the heat down or anything. Alright, now I'm going to add the spices. I have 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. And we're going to toss that together. Let those flavors from the oregano and the cumin really come to life. Heating it like this in the oil before adding the stock is a great way to bring out the flavors of your spices. So that's a technique that I recommend you always do when you're making stews or soups or really anything at all. If you have a chance to heat up the spices on the oil to bring out the flavor, it's great. And we will let this cook until the vegetables are tender. So maybe about 5 minutes. Just remember to toss the vegetables every now and then pretty often actually during those 5 minutes so that they don't burn in the bottom. A little bit of brown bits is perfectly okay actually, but you don't want it to get burned. So just make sure to not completely walk away from these veggies. All right, these are about done, maybe another minute. All right, these veggies are nice and soft. So now we're gonna add the stock. We're gonna add 3 cups of stock. This is actually chicken stock unsalted because remember we added the salt earlier. I actually heated up the stock ahead of time just to not slow down the cooking process too much. So I put it in the microwave until it was nice and hot. And we're gonna bring the heat down to medium and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Uncovered, by the way. Let it simmer for 10 minutes uncovered. Now we're gonna add some mashed cannellini beans. This is 1 cup of mashed beans. I used a potato masher first, and then I finished mashing it up with a fork. This will add a nice texture to the, and kind of creaminess to the chili soup. We're gonna give this a quick stir. And now I'm gonna add another cup of cannellini beans, but this time not mashed, for a total of 2 cups of beans. And remember, this doesn't look very soupy because it's a chili, and a chili is usually not a lot of broth. So the amount of liquid that we're seeing here is perfectly fine. I was a little concerned at first that maybe it would not be enough liquid, but in the worst case, we could have just added a little bit more stock. Or if it does dry out on you a little bit, then just the remaining stock that you have, you can add. This is 3 cups of rotisserie chicken, the breast part. So we bought a rotisserie chicken, ate the rest, reserved the breast for the chili. And here's that lovely butternut squash that we browned earlier. This is gonna add a nice touch of sweetness in contrast with the deeper, kind of smokier flavors of the cumin. So this is gonna be a great combination. All right, so we're just gonna heat this through for 2 minutes. We're gonna plate and top with our beautiful garnish. So here's the plated soup. We can see the red pepper and the butternut squash and the cannellini beans and the chicken, all great stuff. And the topping is gonna really finish up the flavor of this soup. So do not skip the topping unless you do not like cilantro. Then you can skip. Maybe you can just do the lime. So we're going to do, there's 3 tablespoons of cilantro here and 1 teaspoon of ground garlic that we're going to mix together. Let me show you how. And just incorporate this as evenly as possible. Okay, that's our mixture. Let's bring back the chili. What we're going to do is sprinkle a little bit of the chili, of the cilantro and garlic mixture on top. And I always like to serve my soup with a wedge of lime, but that is also optional. And that is it. I love this recipe because you can use the leftover rotisserie chicken and it comes together really, really fast. I hope you enjoy it and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.